Hello, I teased this review long time ago, so now it's finally time to review Meze 109 Pro. Of course, everyone knows Meze, and actually their start of world famous manufacturers started from the Meze 99 Pro. It was a really good affordable model with premium design and a decent sound, especially for those who like big bass and at the same time musical and clean representation. So they managed to satisfy global tastes, and I'm not sure, but they've probably sold really big bunch of 99s, and it's still well sold model due to good price to quality ratio. But of course everyone waited for more expensive models, and we received the Empyrean and Lyric and other top of the line models. But then Meze decided to release the dynamic driver model that doesn't belong to that premium arm and leg cost segment. So 99 Pro, 109 Pro, sorry, it's their price is $800. We'll add a link to the official site and shop in the description. And actually it offers great design, really balanced sound thanks to the absolutely incredible dynamic driver. Actually, I really recommend you to visit their website and read the description, because they used 5 or 6 different type of modern complex materials to create dynamic driver, and on top of that they've added some design ideas they found in for the Empyrean, Elite and Lyric models. So really interesting headphones. So let's have a closer look. As you can see, package is traditional for recent models, black cardboard with some gold embossed geometric patterns, but actually inside of the box all things are pretty simple. It's just case with headphones and extra stuff, and the big fancy booklet about model and related stuff. So let me pull it out just to show you. What I really like that they use really good polygraphy. It's really sign of the attention. Beautiful landscapes of Romania, really beautiful Carpathian mountains, and then description of this model, design ideas, and so on. So you can see blow up diagram, you can see actually this driver design and description, all interesting ideas they've put into this model. So it's really interesting to read, and they help you to get in the mood for reviewing this model, or if you buy it, to trying this model. Case pretty similar to one we've seen with Lyric, for example, and it looks really stylish and really luxury thing. Nice shapes, really pleasant to touch. Metal logo of the company actually reminds some supercars logos. And of course we unzip these zippers, and inside everything is like we can expect. So we're getting headphones themselves, leather pouch with cable, and 6.3mm adapter, unavoidable gadget to have in your collection. So first let's take a look at the design. Maybe it's subjective, but they looks gorgeous. So I really like this headband construction since the Empyrean times. I really like that it's lightweight, at the same time it's sturdy, reliable, and provides you a good clamping force, holding well on your head, and at the same time don't trying to push it too hard. Automatic size of headband regulated automatically by sliding of the head pad. It's soft, it has a good level of softness, and it's not irritating upper part of your head, even if you don't have too much hair. Well, at least for me. And of course that small nuances like this cast yokes, this cast detail here, and you know, I can just shut up and show you some parts of these designs. Like you can see the protective grille inside, it's some masterpiece here and here. Nice soft velvet ear cups, and they feels really great on the head, distributing the weight properly without any fatiguing, without overheating, and so on. Here are connectors for cable. They are not symmetrical, so this should be right cup, yeah, it's right, and left, so they're connecting a bit at the rear side of the cups. And as you can see, it's almost completely open. You can easily see driver inside of the cup beyond the grill. This means that this model is definitely not for some office usage, or if you want to let sleep your significant one or something like that. It's for comfortable listening somewhere in the quiet room, in the comfortable armchair, and so on. So here you get two cables. One is shorter and the second one is longer. Let me untangle at least one of them. So I suppose this one is the shorter one. They have rubber insulation. I wanted shorter one, but actually, so sorry, but I still need to get one of them. So here is the shortest one. It's for portable usage with some player, and they still using their that connectors that they've used in the regular, in the previous model. So this one is left, so it goes here and just click in place, and this one goes here and also clicks. And actually you can pay attention that these sockets are bigger than on the 99 Classics, and that means that you can use some custom connector, a bit bigger one, if you'd like to use some third-party cable. And actually Meze offers also third-party cables for their headphones. I have a cable for 109, and for the Advar we'll review them soon too. In general, cable is just like normal basic cable. It's not super stellar, but pretty okay to enjoy the headphones. Or if you want, you can get more flexible, softer, more convenient, and slightly better sounding one. But in general, design of course is really stellar. And of course about the sound. I'm not sure will it be enough if I'll just say you that they sound great, well balanced and enjoyable, and finish review here. Probably not, because all of you who just suffered with because of my accent until this place deserve a bit more verbose description of the sound. You know, in in-ear monitors we have a lot of different driver types. We have balanced armatures, planars, bone conductor, and some even more sophisticated things, electrostats, and so on. In the full-size headphones we are more limited. There are some really unusual experiments, but usually it's either electrostats, dynamic drivers, or planars. And actually, you know, despite of all that pluses of electrostats, planars, like high resolution, low distortion, still dynamic drivers held their place as most preferable type of drivers, and it's because they allows you achieving that balance, sound that is technical but at the same time very musical. And this headphones is a great demonstration. So they give you good resolution, they give you nice imaging, staging, one of the best in their price tier, but at the same time you'll get more fuller body for the instruments, you'll get more balanced and weighty low frequencies and so on. You know, it's like universal solution. You can focus on the tiniest nuances of sound and listen to like single instrument in the band or in some orchestra, but at the same time you can just relax and enjoy the music in the whole. So it's absolutely free experience. You can do with them whatever you'd like. So bass goes deep, it's really well detailed. It's not trying to be super fast like planar drivers sometimes try to do, but at the same time resolution is good, as well as saturation with that small nuances in the low frequencies that gives you the sense of realism for the instrument that goes to the low frequency area. It's not warm, and actually it's not bassy because it's more or less, well, it's not linear, but more or less natural model. There is slight elevation of bass, but it's not too much. But at the same time, when necessary, they can give you, actually not give you, but they can deliver good punch. It would be fun if headphones will give owner a punch. So they deliver a good punch, they deliver a good impact, they are tight, but when it's necessary they have also gives a good body. So it's good for critical listening of something acoustical, for example, like double bass. But at the same time they are pretty enjoyable with electronic music and pop music, unless of course you want really big and accented low frequencies. In this case actually consider Meze 99. They still available on the market and offers that to listeners. I mean accented bass. So first example, it's to the Shoreline by the Pain of Salvation. I really like their acoustic album Falling Home. It was a great experiment. All their albums is usually a great experiment, but some are greater than others. So they have nice, interesting bass, slightly accented here, and with these headphones it sounds really balanced with good sense of realism, and at the same time, thanks to their natural mids, they deliver guitars and vocal really well. And the second example, first I wanted to take, I wanted either to take something like Musica Nuda focused on that small nuances. Then I wanted to take something like Juno Reactor or The Prodigy to describe that they deliver pretty good rumble and so on. But then I decided to take one of my favorite bands, and actually, for this review I mostly focused on favorite things because I like dynamic drivers, I like such signature, and so I selected tracks that I like more than more than average. And it's the race Yello. It's a long track, actually 8 minutes, really long for the Yello, and a lot of things is going on during this track, a lot of different effects, changes of tempo, and sometimes appear saxophone, sometimes appear some samples, engines, and it's really drivey, it's really groovy, great track. And of course low frequencies play important role here, but it's not like traditional electronic music boomy low frequencies, it's more refined, more balanced, and these headphones deliver it really well. Mid frequencies, they are not super fast, but resolution is good. They're not focused on the micro contrast, but you'll get all that small details and nuances. Thanks to the open back construction, you'll get a pretty big stage with good airness, with lot of with good layering in depth, with proper transition of that depth layers from one to another. You'll get balanced voices, you'll get actually what you expect from the good headphones, unless you want like something super warm or you want something focused on the micro contrast and sharp and analytical. No, it's in between of that different types of representation, giving you just natural music without any extra accent. So I described almost everything. They are not super critical for the quality of record, but still better records are required. They slightly boosting emotions and dynamics, but they are not adding weight at the mid frequencies. So if a record is bad in terms of weight distribution, they won't try to fix it or mask that issue. But with vast majority of decent records it will sound really great. And first example, actually I didn't recall this album and artist for quite a long time. It's Amaseffer, great progressive metal band from Israel, if I remember right, or somewhere from the Middle East, with with theatrical approach. They have a lot of different effects. They have narrative that tells the story. They have a lot of instruments, they have great catchy tunes, perfect vocal, and unfortunately only one album. It's not perfectly recorded, and actually with these headphones you will hear that shortcuts they've taken during the record of this album, but at the same time it will sound really enjoyable and will deepen you in this atmosphere of the album. So really a great enjoyable experience thanks to the great album and thanks to the good headphones. And let's go further. Actually, I was not joking when I said about my favorite tracks and favorite bands, and of course Dire Straits is one of my top bands. Fun things that I didn't like them until I get 35 or so. Maybe I wasn't adult enough. And Sultans of Swing, of course, is one of their greatest creations, and they have nice bass line here that this model delivers, but of course main part is Knopfler guitar and vocals, and actually it delivers it really well with good sense of realism, but at the same time not trying to slice it into tiny pieces. And treble, it has good extension, slight, not the maximum one, but pretty nice. Good layering, not super, but really nicely done, especially for the dynamic driver model. They not sharp, they don't sound fatiguing, they don't trying to add extra energy, but treble is really well balanced and good in overtone saturation, both basic overtones and more rich saturation, typical for more high-end headphones. You'll get it here too. So nice, detailed, balanced treble without some issues, sharpness or something like that. But of course they don't trying to soften the treble, so if you're sensitive to the high frequencies, it's better to try them just in case. And first example, it's Alexis Cole, and we got fun, typical audiophile record with good quality of record, perfect vocal and so on. And of course this track is filled with different trebles, all the percussions, brushes, vocal overtones and instruments going high to the high frequency area. And actually this is a really good high quality record, so with it and with good headphones like this you can even hear room where size of the recording room where it was recorded. Interesting experience. And another track, not audiophile record, but it's also great and also my favorite band. It's Dream Theater, Endless Sacrifice. I really liked Train of Thought when it appeared, and actually I started listening Dream Theater with this album, because their previous albums were too complicated for me, because I was typical metalhead, I want some catchy tunes, I want some great riffs, and I don't need that complication. And actually this album was really close in terms of sound to thrash metal, at least for me at that time. But on top of that, I enjoyed this track in particular, different changes of tempo and a lot of changes in score, lot of that random inclusions of Myung synthesizers that appear, disappear, that sophisticated guitars. And actually I dived into Dream Theater, I enjoyed this album, and then I started move in both in the past, because it was the most recent album at that time. And I started listening to their previous albums, Metropolis Part 2 and so on and so forth. Really, was really fun times discovering a great group. Later, actually, that happens with Rush. So, yep, have I shown you all the examples, because it was not actually headphones review, but story about my favorite music. But anyway, we need headphones to listen to music. I hope I managed to express my excitement. In terms of driving power, they are actually universal. They are good with some decent player. Of course, it requires a bit of additional power, but they don't require something super power hungry. But at the same time, some desktop setup is also a good fit for them, because they scale a little bit with desktop amplification and digital to analog converter. So in this term, they are pretty universal. You don't need some amplifier that delivers like 10 watts for 32 ohms load for this model. If I remember right, it's actually 112 decibels and 40 ohms of sensitivity, so not super tough, but combo with good control will be a great plus for them. As for comparisons, unfortunately can't instantly recall any full-size model in this price segment, because my experience is pretty limited. But if I recall something, or if you interested and I forgot about some model that I have tested in the past, just feel free to ask and I will be happy to share my opinion. And meanwhile, thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.